The high price of tuition at UHK, University of Hard Knocks. Nearly a decade ago, I was asked to be a partner in a new startup venture. I invested a considerable sum of money into the deal and worked tirelessly on it for nearly 2 years before finding out that my partner had mismanaged and squandered all the cash. I lost more than 330,000. I didn't try to sue him. In fact, I lent him more money later for a personal situation. The bottom line was the loss was my fault. I had agreed to be his partner without doing enough due diligence on his background and personal character. During our time in business, I wasn't ex- inspecting what I was expecting. I could just I could justify it by saying I trusted him. But the truth was I was guilty of being lazy by not watching the finances more diligently. Not only had I made the choice to start this relationship and business, but I'd also made many choices to ignore obvious red flags and warning signs. Because I chose to not be completely responsible for the business, in the end, I was responsible for the results. When I learned of the wrongdoings, I chose not to lose any more time fighting it. Instead, I licked my wounds, learned my lesson, and moved on. In hindsight, I'd make the same choice to pick up and move on again today. I now challenge you to do the same. No matter what has happened to you, take complete responsibility for it. Good or bad, victory or defeat, own it. My mentor Jim Rohn said, "The day you graduate from childhood to adulthood is the day you take full responsibility for your life." Today is graduation day. From this day forward, choose to be 100% responsible for your life. Eliminate all of your excuses. Embrace the fact that you are freed by your choices, as long as you assume personal responsibility for them. It's time to make a choice to take control. Your secret weapon, your scoreboard. I'm about to walk you through one of the single greatest strategies I'd ever used in my personal development. This strategy help, helps me take control of the choices I make throughout the day, causing everything else to fall into place and leading to behaviors and actions that shepherd my habits into line like dutiful, loyal minions. Right this moment, pick an area of your life where you most want to be successful. Do you want more money in the bank, a trimmer waistline, the strength to compete in an Ironman event, a better relationship with your spouse or kids? Picture where you are in that area right now. Now picture where you want to be. Richer, thinner, happier, you name it. The first step toward change is awareness. If you want to get from where you are to where you want to be, you have to start by becoming aware of the choices that lead you away from your desired destination. Become very con- conscious of every choice you make today so you can begin to make smarter choices moving forward. To help you become aware of your choices, I want you to track every action that relates to the area of your life you want to improve. If you've decided you want to get out of debt, you're going to track every penny you pull from your pocket. If you've decided you want to lose weight, you're going to track everything you put into your mouth. If you've decided to train for an athletic event, you're going to track every step you take. Every workout you do, simply carry around a small notebook, something you'll keep in your pocket or purse at all times, and a writing instrument. You're going to write it all down every day without fail, no excuses, no expectations, as a big brother's as if big brother's watching over you. As if my dad and I will come and make you do 100 push-ups every time you miss. Doesn't sound like much, I know, writing things down on a little piece of paper, but tracking my progress and missteps is one of the reasons I've accumulated the success I have. The process forces you to be conscious of your decisions. But as Jim Rohn would say, what's simple to do is also simple not to do. The magic is not in the complexity of the task. The magic is in the doing of simple things repeatedly and long enough to ignite the miracle of the compound effect. So beware of neglecting the simple things that make the big things in your life possible. The biggest difference between successful people and unsuccessful people is that successful people are willing to do what unsuccessful people are not. Remember that. It will come in handy many times throughout life when faced with a difficult, tedious, or tough choice. Money trap. I learned the power of tracking the hard way. After I'd acted like a colossal idiot about my finances back in my early 20s, when I was making a lot of money selling real estate, I met with my accountant. You owe well over 100,000 in taxes, he said. What? I said. I don't have that kind of cash just lying around. Why not? He asked. You collected several times that. Certainly you set aside the taxes that would be due on that money. Evidently I didn't, I said. Where did the money go? He asked. I don't know, I said. A sobering confession, for sure. The money had passed through my hands like water, and I hadn't even noticed. Then my accountant did me a great favor. Son, he said, looking me dead in the eyes, you've got to get a grip. I've seen this 100 times before. You're spending money like a drunken fool, and you don't even know how to account for it. That's stupid. Stop it. You are now seriously in the hole. You have to earn more money that you'll owe additional taxes on just to pay for your back taxes. Continue this and you'll dig your financial grave with your own wallet. I immediately got the message. Here's what my accountant had me do: carry a small notepad in my back pocket and write down every single cent I spent for 30 days. Whether it was $1,000 for a new suit or 50 cents for air to fill up my tires, it all had to go down on the notepad. Wow. This brought an instantaneous awareness of the many unconscious choices I was making that resulted in money pouring out of my pockets. Because I had to log everything, I resisted buying some things just so I didn't have to take out the notepad and write it in the dang book. Keeping a money log for 30 days straight cemented a new awareness in me and created a completely new set of choices and disciplines around my spending. And since awareness and positive behaviors compound, I found myself being more proactive with money in general, putting away more for retirement, finding areas to save where there was clear waste, and enjoying the fun, quotient of money. Play money. all the more. When I did consider shelling out for entertainment, I did so only after a long pause. This tracking exercise changed my awareness of how I related to my money. It worked so well, in fact, that I've used it many times to change other behaviors. Tracking is my go to transformation model for everything that ails me. Over the years, I've tracked what I eat and drink, how much I exercise, how much time I spend improving a skill, my number of sales calls, even the improvement of my relationships with family, friends, or my spouse. The results have been no less profound than my money tracking wake up call. In buying this book, you're basically paying me for my opinion, my guidance. This is where I'm going to become a hard ass and insist you track your behaviors for at least one whole week. This book isn't designed to entertain you. It is designed to help you get results. To get results, you have to take some action. You may have heard about tracking before. In fact, you've probably done your own version of this exercise. But I also bet you aren't doing it now, right? How do I know? Because your life isn't working as successfully as you'd like. You've gotten derailed. Tracking is the way to get it back on track. Do you know how the casinos make so much money in Vegas? Because they track every table, every winning, every hour. Why do Olympic trainers get paid top dollar? Because they track every workout, every calorie, and every micronutrient for their athletes. All winners are trackers. Right now, I want you to track your life with the same intention to bring your goals within sight. Tracking is a simple exercise. It works because it brings moment to moment awareness to the actions you take in the area of your life you want to improve. You'll be surprised at what you will observe about your behavior. You cannot manage or improve something until you measure it. Likewise, you can't make the most of who you are, your talents and resources and capabilities until you are aware of the of and accountable for your actions. Every professional athlete and his or her coach track every performance down to the smallest minutia. Pitchers know their stats on every pitch in their repertoire. Golfers have ever even more metrics on their swings. Professional athletes know how to adjust their performances based on what they've tracked. They pay attention to what they record and make changes accordingly. Because they know when their stats improve, they win more games and earn more in endorsement deals. At any given moment, I want you to know exactly how well you're doing. I'm asking you to track yourself as if you're a valuable commodity because you are. Want that idiot proof system we talked about earlier? This is it. So, regardless of whether you think you're aware of your habits or not, believe me, you're not. I'm asking you to start tracking. Doing so will revolutionize your life and ultimately your lifestyle. Keep it slow and easy. Don't panic. We're starting off with an easy breezy tempo. Just track one habit for 1 week. Pick the habit that has the greatest control over you. That's where you'll start. Once you begin reaping the rewards of the compound effect, you'll naturally want to introduce this practice into other areas of your life. In other words, you'll choose to choose tracking. Let's say the category you choose is getting your eating under control because you want to lose weight. Your task is to write down everything you put in your mouth, from the steak, potatoes, and salad you have at dinner to those many tiny choices during the day. That handful of pretzels in the break room, that second slice of cheese on your sandwich, that fun sized candy bar, that sample at Costco, those extra sips of wine after the host tops off your glass. Don't forget the beverages. They all add up. But unless tracked, they're easy to dismiss and forget because they seem so small. Again, merely writing these things down sounds simple, and it is, but only when you do it. That's why I'm asking that you commit to choosing a category and a start date now before you turn this page. I am to start tracking blank on blank date, month, year. What will the tracking look like? It will be thorough. It will be thorough, as in organized, and relentless, as in constant. Each day you'll start with the date at the top of a fresh page and start keeping track. What happens after the first week of tracking? You'll probably be in shock. You'll be astonished at how those calories, pennies, minutes have been escaping you. You never even knew that they were there, let alone that they'd vanished. Now keep going. You're going to track in this one area for 3 weeks. Maybe you're already groaning. You just don't want to do it. But trust me, you'll be soon blown away by the results. After 1 week, you'll sign yourself up for another 2. I can practically guarantee it. Why 3 weeks? You've heard psychologists say that something doesn't become a habit until you practice it for 3 weeks. It's not an exact science, but it's a good benchmark. And it has worked for me. So ideally, I want you to stick with your choice to track your behaviors for 21 days. If you refuse, I'm not going to lose anything. Heck, it's not my waistline, cardiovascular health, bank balance, or relationship you're messing with. But seriously, you're reading this book because you want to change your life, right? And I promised you it was going to take slow, steady work, didn't I? This one action isn't easy, but it's simple and doable. So do it. Promise yourself to start today. For the next 3 weeks, choose to carry around your own small notepad, or a large one, if that's more enticing, and write every single thing down in your category. What happens in 3 weeks? You move from the shock that follows the first week to the happy surprise of seeing how merely becoming conscious of your actions begins to shape them. You'll find yourself asking, do I really want that candy bar? I'm gonna have to haul out my notebook and write it down, and I'll feel a little sheepish. That's 200 calories saved right there. Turn down that candy bar every day, and in little more than 2 weeks, you'll have already lost a pound. You'll start adding up that $4 coffee on the way to work and realize, holy cow, I've just spent 60 bucks on coffee in 3 weeks. Hey, that's $1,000 a year. or compounded, that's $51,833.79 in 20 years. How much do you really need to stop for coffee? Question mark. See figure 3. 60,000, 50,000, 40,000 years, 1, 5, 10, 15, 20. The real cost of a $4 a day coffee habit over 20 years is $51,833.79. That's the power of the compound effect. Let's see, can you see that? Come again? Question mark. Am I saying that your $4 a day coffee habit is going to cost you $51,833.79 in 20 years? Question mark. Yes, I am. Did you know that every dollar you spend today, no matter where you spend it, is costing you nearly $5 in only 20 years? And $10 in 30 years? That's because if you took a dollar and invested it at 8% in 20 years, that dollar would be worth almost 5. Every time you spend a buck today, it's like taking $5 out of your future pocket. I used to make the mistake of looking at a price tag and thinking that if an item was listed at $50, it cost me $50. Well, yes, in today's dollars. But if you consider the potential value of that same $50 after it has been invested for 20 years, the cost, what you lose by spending that money rather than investing it, is 4 or 5 times greater. In other words, every time you look at an item that costs $50, you have to ask, is this item worth $250? If it's worth $250 to you today, then it's worth buying. Keep that in mind next time you go to a place like Costco with all sorts of amazing things that you didn't know you had to have. You go in to buy $25 worth of necessities and walk out with $400 of stuff instead. My garage looks like a Costco graveyard. Next time you walk into one of those bargain basement stores, assess things from this future value standpoint. Chances are you'll put down that $50 crate maker, so future you will have 250 more in the bank. Make the correct choice every day, every week, for many years, and you can quickly see how you can become financially abundant. When you track with this awareness, you'll find yourself showing up in your life very differently. You'll be able to ask yourself, is having a coffee once every workday worth the eventual price of a Mercedes Benz? Because that's what it's costing you. Even more than that, you're not sleepwalking anymore. You're aware and conscious and making better choices, all from a little notebook and pen. Simply amazing, isn't it? All right.